You don't do art for the people. You do art for yourself. And music is like food. There are people from a certain area in this country who eat githeri as a meal. And people from another part of this country, they eat githeri as a snack. Taste, preferences, exposure. The more you're exposed to different types of music, the more your musical palette gets bigger. If you don't like Otile's new song, can't you play his old stuff? But you have to understand that artists evolve. My name is Mackinlay. I'm a musician, producer, trumpet player. The man who tried to set a world record, hopefully, playing the trumpet last month. It's exactly a month since we did that thing. I started my career 10 years ago, but I've been playing my whole life since I was a child, so not professionally. So professionally, it's been 10 years. Now I like the sound of the trumpet. I didn't always like the trumpet, but when I started playing it, it was the easiest. It was the most affordable brass instrument I could buy when I wanted to buy my own instrument. So yeah, trumpets are cheaper than other brass instruments, so I got an affordable one. So yeah, then I had to make it build its own sound. The trumpet is a very hard instrument. It's quite unfriendly on the lips. For example, it's an instrument that's not used a lot in our music, so I didn't have any mentors or people I could look up to, like on the scene here. I'm kind of the first person to try to do it the way I do it. As opposed to, say, you know, guitarists wengi, there are many pianists, drummers, other instruments. But brass instruments and string instruments, I think we still have a bit more work to do. So yeah, the biggest challenge was lack of, I think, local mentors in the sound I was playing. But of course, that I was able to overcome that through the internet. Basically, I learned on the internet a lot what I do. Yeah, the other challenge was to place the instrument into music, because it was not a very popular instrument. Even amongst horns, I think the saxophone has had more work in the pop sector, and also, yeah, so also just placing the trumpet in different setups, that was a challenge as well. Once you've developed a sound and an identity around what you do, then it's easier to do that, but then it takes a bit of time to get there. But for me, it was just to place it in very different aspects musically. So trumpet at the front, trumpet with a DJ, trumpet with a band, trumpet playing jazz, trumpet playing pop songs. So people get used to it. They're like, that thing sounds nice, so to speak. So a lot of collaborations, a lot of experiments, so to speak. And also just writing my own music as well, putting it at the front as well. That really helped as well. I play in different styles. So primarily, I'm a trumpet player. My roots are from brass and jazz. That's where I learned, I think, to play. But now, in terms of expressing myself, we can play in many genres. I mean, there's work in jazz, there's work in gospel, there's work in Afropop. Many instrumentalists don't have a genre, because as an instrumentalist, as opposed to a singer, you have to have a lot more breadth in what you can play on your instrument. So we tend to have a wider sound. My music is all about people believing in themselves, people doing what they feel they want to do. Because I don't have a singing voice, so I don't sing.
Yes. Are you ready?
We use chords, melodies, and colors to communicate, convey different feelings to people, so to speak. So the music is more about that. It's about people just putting out things they feel they want to do. If there's a thing you feel you want to do, please do. Because I mean, I'm doing music and I don't even sing, but I found a way to communicate my story and my musicality through my instrument. Music is my third career. Right? Yes. So I came from a different background. I've played the instrument my whole life, but I was not always a musician. I went to school. I studied language economics. I went to work in the not-for-profit sector. I studied project management for 7 years. I moved into project management business consulting. I got an MBA along the way. I ventured into SME and management consulting, and then I went into music. Right? So when I turned 30 is when I said, yeah. Now, so I'm kind of a late entrant into the music. But music for me was a career switch. So it was a proper switch with financial objectives and just trying to see what sort of impact we could create. So in as much as the passion was there, it was backed by very conscious decisions about what I want to be like and what I want to achieve, and looking at it as work. And since I came into music, I mean, I've built related businesses. So now I'm doing branding, I'm doing events, entertainment management, and other things. They're really things I've learned, but still try to build parallels as a performer, but also doing other things. So that's what I mean when I say you have to learn new skills. It's true that the industry is unregulated. People are winging it. People don't have a plan, and also there's no infrastructure that actually helps you. So the lack of infrastructure has been the biggest challenge. If you're in formal employment, you most probably have, like saving schemes that are mandatory for you to pay into, right, for your retirement. So whether you like it or not, you have a retirement benefits scheme, for example, going on. As a creative, you have to create this. You have to have that understanding in all this, and people don't have that information. So I think what I said before about understand the business and look at it as that, and try to think, how do I? Because you'll not be. It's challenging to operate at some sort of level that's top for all time, because music changes, the tastes change. The things that we're playing now that people like, there'll be a new wave that is cooler, and there'll be young people who want it. But then you have to now think of yourself as an artist and think of career growth. Once you're done with the stage, for example, once you hang up your boots, what is next for you? That's why I said, learn other skills that you now have a full life as you go through music, and when you innovate, then you try to break new ground, even in music, or even in arts, because the art field is still, there's a lot of opportunities, in the art field that people haven't explored. I think as per education goes, my view has really changed about education the last 15 years. And my first job, actually, I worked in education management, education policy, and education funding for 6 years. But then I think the challenge that we have with the education system here is it's not been responsive enough to the needs that people have. So if, for example, you want to be a DJ, right? First off the bat, your parents are like, oh, napotea. But yet there are people who are DJs and they make a living doing what they do, right? But so there's no clear path from high school to DJ. How does that look without you falling along the way you're falling into? That path is not clear. So when we talk about lack of infrastructure, that's what I mean. As opposed to if you want to be a doctor, the path is clear. Finish, get these marks, go to this institution, do these kind of things, and then start here as an intern, do this, and then 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, you're here. That path doesn't exist in the art sector, which is a blessing and a curse, because at the same time, you can come in and be famous at 15 and be a millionaire. Not everyone gets it, but some people get that. So, of course, to mitigate that, people can work with managers. But even management is something it's a rare skill. There are not many artist managers who are up there. Formal education is important because it puts a structure to things. Some people drop out of school and leave school. I feel that's a personal choice. I am not the kind of person who would drop out of school personally. I would still finish. And in fact, there was a kid on my Instagram who was saying, it was just 2 days ago, he was saying the thing is I think he's a trumpet player or a trombone player. It's like, I'm doing this thing, he's doing a pharmacy degree or something, and it's so hard. I wish I could play my trumpet like Mackinlay, but this pharmacy is getting in the way. And I was telling him, no, I mean, it's possible to do both. I believe in finishing things personally, so I will try to make it work somehow. I'll try to stay in school and try to make it, but I guess at the end of the day, there are different life paths to it. School education is different from true education. That's what I've learned. And people out here want to know what you can do more than what the piece of paper says you can do. What we try to do is we try to communicate to people about what we are about and what we are not about. I think that consistency, people know that, this is what these people do. They don't do this. If you want this, then, So in a way, some people try to say and do too much, right? Or capture all the markets and think about, I'm going to do all the genres of music and I'm going to be everywhere at once. And that's hard to sustain. And also, you don't build a proficiency in one line, So in terms of deciding what the brand looks like, it's been work. We've learned about branding. I've learned about branding when I'm branding myself. So that's for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years. I now have gone to a place now, part of the work we do is to run brands for people. But the school has been us trying to figure out what we do for ourselves. Yeah. So the uniqueness of a brand, I think, for me, is communication. The brand must communicate clearly what they are about, what they are not. For example, if I opened a place that sells water and I call it Maji Water, right? And my tagline is the cleanest water south of the Sahara. But when you get the water and you look at it and it's not clean, am I communicating what's on the tag? What am I saying? I sell water that's not clean. No matter, even if I put a billboard saying the cleanest water, you will not see it. My product will tell you what the brand actually communicates. So brand communication is a whole thing. It's a whole science, I think people are trying to figure out. And of course, as you say, in brands, the trends are always shifting. Music moves very quickly. Today, this is nice. Tomorrow, it's not nice. And then now it's going to a place now. It's not just the music. It's about social consciousness. It's about messaging. Today, we want to cancel you because we saw you. Yeah, we saw you. I don't know. You spoke to her on the street, and we don't like her, so we have to cancel you. All those things are challenges that brands actually face. Not just music brands, just brands in general. About navigating those waters, because now the phone, the internet has given us the power to actually run our own brands personally. We run our own brand kiosks, so to speak, personally. There's a platform we call Afrolit Academy, which you can check it out online, where we've been working with young musicians to just give people, share what we know, so to speak, share with people what we know in terms of music, the whole career as a musician bit, you know, just share with people what we know. So that's been happening pole over the last couple of years or so. We're getting more and more people interested in it. At the end of it, you know, I have one pair of lips and I can play one trumpet. The real achievement would be to have 50 people who can play, you know, 50 people who can play trumpet. That would be an amazing thing. I want to do something crazy. I wanted to push myself to the limit and see how the limit looks like, so to speak. I wanted to just push myself to the limit and see how that looks like, and that's what we did. So my aim was to really play for 24 hours, and I feel we managed to do that for sure. Not the easiest of things I've done, that's for sure. But it's just to inspire people to, you know, follow your ideas. You know, if you think there's something that's as unrealistic as that might be, but you feel like you want to try it, just follow your ideas. You know, you'll be surprised at what you can achieve. The preps physically, yeah, I had to have a lifestyle change a few months to start working out again after many years. You know, I'm still trying to get back on that boat. But mentally, it was a lot more to do with resilience. You know, like mental resilience, and just I tried to imagine how the whole day would unfold many times. Of course, you can't truly prepare for it like 100%, otherwise, you know, it will be something you can do. But there was a lot of mental preps that went into it, in terms of, I think, when I wrote down all the music I played, and then I was looking at the set list and trying to work it mentally, how I'm actually going to play through it. That really helped me to prepare for it. Yeah. there's a couple of times where it got really tough. Yeah, because I injured my lip around hour 10, so I kind of popped my lip. And then also, so I had to play through a lot of discomfort for maybe 14 hours. And after that, you know, I went through a whole thing with my mouth swelling, whatever, that kind of stuff. And also, at some point I got really sleepy. I was afraid I would fall on the stage, you know. Yeah, and at some point, the energy came to the end. You feel like you're mentally, but you just have to try to play out another note, just push out more notes from your own. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope I get it. If I get it, I'll be happy about it. The achievement for me was in actually playing for 24 hours, which was achieved. You know, I did what I set out to do. If I do get an award for it, I'll be grateful for that, of course. The world record gives you a profile. More than anything else, just gives you a profile. It doesn't come with any monetary compensation from them. It puts your name and recognition. For me, just to be recognized for doing something you like doing. You know, if someone knew me for falling into the puddle you know, in town. That will not make me happy. But if people know me for playing a trumpet, which is something I truly love doing, then that's great for me. My biggest lesson for this, I mean, I had kind of said it before I went in, but the biggest lesson was just that the big things are done in small parts. You know, the objective to play for 24 hours is too big, but to play for 10 minutes, it looks like it's possible, right? So yeah, so big things are done in, so we just kept playing one song after the other, just play the next song, like that. But that was the objective of the game. I have two projects. So one has singers, and the other project goes back to my roots, where I grew up playing music in a brass band, a marching band, and I've never really tapped into that music. So that music is quite different from what people have had before. I hope people like it. Yeah, I hope people like it, yeah. At the moment, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to complete this rather landmark album for me, which I feel once it goes out there, then there'll be, you know, the conversation then will shift in terms of what kind of stages I can be on. But there's a lot of, I mean, there's massive talent in Kenya. There's a lot of music that's from Kenya that has not gone out to other places before. Internationally, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, think about that. Collaborations expose you to different types of music. They make you learn from other people, and even just from the discomfort of playing something that you don't play every day. Then you have to make it. You have to make it work for you. So collabs make you learn. Collabs push your sound to other audiences, you know, who might not have heard of you before. But then, let's say if I collab with you, then I get to meet your audience, right? From that collaboration. So I think collabs are important to just network and share the music for artists. Horns have been part of the African sound for a long time. When you think of Fela Kuti, what did he play? The saxophone. It's a horn. Was his sound elitist? Okay. Is Les Wanyika elitist? Right? So my point, the point I'm trying to make is the instruments, I don't think there's any instrument that makes music sophisticated. And sophistication here is used in the wrong way, to mean snobbish people sitting in whatever, which is not also a bad thing. I mean, if you're that person, that's fine for you. But there is no particular instrument, any instrument that can be said to make something sophisticated or accessible. You know, if you think of the guitar, which is the mother of African music, right? But there's still expensive guitar music. But the instrument is not, the guitar is a guitar. It's all over the place. So yeah, so you might talk of a genre like, because even when you say jazz, I mean, if you ask Les Wanyika, they'll tell you they're a jazz band, right? But then we think they're mainstream, right? Yeah, so nothing, I think it's hard to classify music in that dimension. People don't listen to music based on the class they are in life. The only difference is the mainstream music is any music people can dance to a lot. If people can dance to your song a lot, it becomes mainstream because people can react to it. But then if you go listen to an orchestra and you have to sit in a hall, then maybe less people will want to come for that, right? So that will make it a few people listen to that as compared to a lot more people listen to this other genre. You know, if I think of some of my latest work, you follow pop music. You know Nameless's latest song. It actually starts with trumpet, right? And yet, that's a completely mainstream, you know, like it's a completely club, right? It's a club kind of song. So I think different instruments, it's how you use the instrument. It's like a voice. Some people sing opera, some people sing benga, you know, they just change their voice and then they communicate differently. We would have to be a bit more specific in terms of whether we are looking at a particular genre, because for example, there's the mainstream music, but I mean pop. That's like radio kind of music. There are other genres that people play that people, you know, there's classical, there's jazz, there's traditional music, there's all these fusions. But generally, I think, I feel there's a lot more people embracing music as a career, for sure. A lot more young people especially, who are convinced that they can do music as a thing they want to do. And with young people, we always get innovation, you know. They will start doing things that we didn't think of doing. So I think that's a good thing in terms of pushing the Kenyan sound forward. Of course, there's a never-ending debate about the Kenyan sound and what it is, what it's not. I don't know myself, to be honest, what the Kenyan sound is. But in terms of, I think the live scene where I play myself, the live scene has been growing a lot over the years, and that should get better and better. There's a lot more live music happening in this town. The challenge is to get it to other places, because also I feel like the stuff is only happening in Nairobi, mostly, right? Yeah, the Nairobi is a city is growing, but then I'm not sure if Kisumu or Nakuru or, you know, other places are growing. I'm not so sure. There is a big challenge with concert venues. There is no infrastructure for concert venues. You know, how many indoor arenas do we have? That's not a concert venue, that's a warehouse. You get my point? Yeah. That's not a concert. I mean, I'm sorry.
You actually have to be set up for you.
It's not a concert venue. Yeah. So when you look at an indoor arena for a concert venue, yeah. And I'm not saying they need to be 50,000 seater venues. We don't have 1,000 seater. The biggest space that has seats is Jane Bhavani in Loresho. It's a private venue. It's helped many artists to do their concepts, despite some challenges, but they actually are helping people more than even the government, because they have it's 1,200 seater. It's the biggest venue we have, and the cost is out of reach for most artists. It's a wonderful venue. We have no venues, so we have to put concerts in places that you have to start working on security. There are so many things you have to. You can imagine if the Premier League didn't have stadiums. We go like, oh, now we're playing in, today we are playing at Uhuru Park. How crazy would that be? That's how events are running. That's how events are running. There are no concert venues. Yeah. So that investment will change. There are such few venues to hold concerts in that are actually tailored for concerts. And some of these venues have to be an investment beyond for profit. It will be for culture. And that's not, yeah, that's not happening. You know, so If the government is, people are waiting for the government to do it, the government doesn't think they want to do it. You know, the government thought it's nice to build a house to train people how to go to be house help in Saudi Arabia. Right? Yeah, it's the time we live in. So that will sort a lot of problems. Venues, the venues are not there. Because concerts are a big thing. They could bring tourism, they bring national pride. Even our sportsmen, I mean, they're making do with facilities that we can't even talk about. We have a global brand as a running country with nothing on the ground for the runners. Yeah, people have to train privately. They are not there. People are building more and more apartments every day. I mean, as a private investor, I think you get to what you want to. Yeah, there are no trees, there are no places for kids to play. I don't know where our children will play football from right now. If you live in Nairobi with your child, where do they play football? There's no playing area. Which footballers are we building in at all? None. So that, I think, is a huge challenge for many sectors, not just the arts. That, you know, there hasn't been a corresponding investment in infrastructure with the growth of the people and the numbers. You know, so that has led into problems with concerts because security is security is a huge expense because you have to secure a venue that has thousands of people. And despite you doing your best, if 500 people showed up at the door at once, or 100 people, like they did for concerts, and they say they want to occupy them, what do? You can't kill people. You can't, you know? It's crazy. What's that? That's my take. We have to go beyond populism. Okay? The child who wants to play a piano in Kisumu, are they benefiting from Trantahela? Yet the mission is to do it. Okay. Does Trantahela have a database of who the artists are as a start? We have to go beyond populism. You know? If I talk about, because I do events and those are hard to do. Even the thing of saying, and I have no problem with when they bring these big acts and they pay them what they pay them, which is fine. It's for the brand, that's all. If we took 100 million, 128 million as a performance fee for Kenyan artists, how many events are you putting up? How about the impact? So we must do those big events and bring those big people for our profile, but someone also at the same time, someone must look at the other side of the coin. You realize that the whole allocation the government had for the whole artists during COVID, to help artists during COVID, was less than the fee that they paid Burna Boy. Right? It was 100 million.
Yeah.
It's a lot that needs to be done. Yeah, I like that Burna Boy can command that amount of money, and I like that he's getting it from us here, which means the money is actually here. That money is in Kenya because they got it from Kenya. So Kenyans have that money to pay. So Kenyans can support their own artists.